Hi, welcome to the Tour of Ireland slideshow. Um, I've been to Ireland 3 different times, taking a group of people with me. And as we're coming in to the sunrise at around 6 a.m., heading into Shannon Airport, here is the view. It's absolutely stunning, the sunrise. It's like going right into the horizon. We pass over the mountains in the morning fog on our way down to Shannon Airport in the western part of Ireland. And we are coming down into an area right around here, let's say between Ennis and Limerick. And this is an idea of Ireland with Dublin on the east coast, Galway on the west coast. We'll go to Ennis first and Limerick, and then head south to Killarney and the 3 peninsulas down south. This is an old abbey ruin in the town of Ennis, and there's things growing out of the rocks everywhere. This is a cobblestone street. Some places are cobbled, some places are bricked. There are street level stores with dwellings above in some of the places, and very narrow roads and alleyways, not for driving necessarily, at least not two-way traffic. Here we are in Limerick, and this is a display outside of the museum there. And it just really appealed to me, the beauty of the paintings on the horses. And here is the Hunt Museum. The horses were in front of it, and Yeats and Henry's work were being shown and contrasted there this summer, the summer of 2017. This is St. Mary's Cathedral, and this is a Celtic cross in the middle of the graveyard there. Some of the graves date back hundreds of years. The cathedral is beautiful and open to walk through and experience. The Loch Restaurant is right by the river. We had lunch there several times, several different years, and pub food that is excellent, actually. When we come out of the Shannon Airport, we head to Bunratty. It's a small little town that has a couple pubs, a hotel, a couple B&Bs. We stay at the Bunratty Courtyard B&B, and it's 12 miles from the airport. And so it's our first stop off place, usually for the first couple days, to kind of download our jet lag. And then we take a bus to Ennis one day and a bus to Limerick another day before our tour starts to the sacred sites. This is Bunratty Castle. They have a Renaissance evening there where you are given a Renaissance type dinner, a family style bowls of vegetables, type of meat that you want, and a knife to eat with, since it's the medieval times. There's jesters and singers, minstrels, and troubadours, and a mock king and queen and their court, and they hold court, and we all dine together. It's very interesting if you've never done it before. This is the Grange Circle, a local farmer who we got to meet this past spring of 2017. He tends to the Grange Circle, and it is in County Kerry, south of where we had come in Shannon. It's the home of Anu, the great mother goddess. The Grange Stone Circle is dedicated to Anya, sun goddess and fairy queen. It is here at the summer solstice that the first rays of the sun move through the two dolmen stones into the center of the large stone circle. The goddess Anya is beloved of her people and guards the land. This circle is one of Ireland's most beautiful, comprising 123 standing stones with a high earth bank surrounding it, helping to maintain its otherworldly space inside. And sometimes as you walk counterclockwise 3 times around the outer part of the circle and then enter the circle and put your hands on the stones, you can almost feel them buzzing. There's so much energy here. Behind the Grange stone circle is Lough Gur, which Anya is believed to have formed. The stories here are of a sacred tree within the lake, which magically arises every 7 years and holds the fabric of Ireland together upon her branches. The area around Lough Gur has been inhabited for at least 5,000 years, and the first Neolithic houses to be found in Ireland were excavated here. It's another picture of the lake from a different point of view. Everything is so green. And looking from that point of view up to the side, up to the hillside, more green trees, grasses, fields. As we continue south, we come to Bridget's Well outside of Newcastle West for the first blessings of the holy waters of the wells. People come and drink from this well. There are cups alongside. You can see a cup or two here. And this is Bridget's Well, the triple goddess of healing, hearth, which includes fire and poetry. And here she is shown as a Christianized version. Instead of Bridget, this is Saint Bridget. The Kildare Well was a larger venue with a more goddess depiction of Bridget here. People come and take water from the wells to take home as their drinking water. Here she is seen holding the torch, the goddess of fire, and the crook of the shepherd, the healer, healing her people. This is the Paps of Anu, these mountains. It's called, the area around it is called the city. You'll see a glimpse of the stone circle from which this picture was taken. And these mountains here are called the Paps, the breasts of the Great Mother. This is where one of the 4 great cities of the Tuatha, the gods and goddesses of Ireland, resided. The Tuatha were known for their magic and worshiped the mother goddess Anu. It was here that they placed 2 cairns atop the mountains above the city and worshiped them as the breasts of the Great Mother, Paps, for over 5,000 years. Much later, when the first Celts came and conquered the land, the 4 great cities of the Tuatha arose and moved into another plane of existence. Our stories tell us they moved to below the land herself. And this is part of the stone circle that compromises what is considered the city, and Christianized with a statue of the Madonna and Child right there on one end, still a representative of the Great Mother and the goddess. This is a statue of Saint Gobnate in Ballyvorney. We come to her well, which I'll show you in a minute, one of the oldest wells of pilgrimage in Ireland. Gobnate is another face of Bridget and dedicated to the bees. Gobnate was considered the bee goddess and is considered the bee goddess. The story goes that she was looking for a place to create a convent of some type, an abbey for her nuns, and she found this place, and on it there were 7 white deer, and she knew this was her place. And so she had a convent built here. Down the pathway a bit, this is Gobnate's Well, and the water is so clear. As you peer into the well, it looks like you're looking at the bottom of the well right there, and don't realize that there's at least 1.5 to 2 feet of water between you and the bottom of the well. People come here, drink from the well, take the water home for health and healing. To the left, there's a tree where people tie ribbons on as thank yous to the goddess here for her healing. This is part of the Abbey ruins. You can see a Celtic cross beyond that aperture. That is part of the cemetery inside. Here is another archway, and at the very top you can see this Sheela-na-gig. It's a stone carving of a pre-Christian female idol signifying freedom and creativity. Most were broken up during the Reformation, and some small ones still exist around Ireland, mainly on the ruins of old churches. The Sheela-na-gig has become a symbol for many Irish women as the right to choose, and is becoming renamed as the Sacred Whore. This is the walkway down from the statue up on the hill down to the well at the bottom of the pathway or of the road. Everything is very green, very moss covered. This is just a house on Beaufort Road that caught my eye. And this was our first group in 2014. We are all saying SHA, which is yes, empowerment. And then we come to the Killarney National Park. Killarney National Park, near the town of Killarney, County Kerry, was the first national park in Ireland, created when Muckross Estate was donated to the Irish Free State in 1932, now 25,000 acres. This is Torque Waterfall. And then up a hillside pathway cut into the side of the hillside is this overlook onto the lakes in Killarney. And then we are back down to the water flowing from the waterfall through this creek here. And these are the trees, the moss-covered trees. Everything is very wet and mossy. This is Mass Rock in Killaclohane Woods. It's a megalithic stone. And these are the woods surrounding. And here we are at Whitechapel. It has a couple different names, but these cows were in the field, and the one to the right, she was extremely curious. She stopped what she was doing and started to trot over to the fence line. She wanted to know why we were there, because it's pretty out of the way spot. So here were people, humans. This is the Abbey of Our Lady of Bella Loco. Here's the entryway, also called Killaga, and also Kilcoman. Kil means church, and Whitechapel. It was here a thriving community lived, and up until the Middle Ages, people from all over Kerry and beyond would travel to the market days. And this is the Abbey ruins, as is this. There's gardens, of course, full of just what grows naturally now, and a graveyard to the right of it, and some very magical energy there, I found. Here on the Dingle Loop, we stopped at this Celtic prehistoric museum. They had bones and jewelry and different kinds of tourist attraction and also history inside. Here is a stone carving. To me, it looks like a snake. To other people, it looks like something else, I'm told. And here we are back in Killarney. This is the Muckross Abbey and the yew tree. The yew tree was considered, this particular one was considered to be planted when the abbey was built in 1448. So that makes this tree almost 300 years old. Sorry, almost 600 years old. I was thinking of the 17. So that tree is supposedly still the original tree. And here's a portal looking out on flowers and the grounds around the abbey, which are just lovely gardens. So now we are moving on to the Ring of Kerry, and this is a road that goes around the peninsula. And we will stop at some point in Sneem and Kenmare, and here we are on the Ring of Kerry, or just off the Ring of Kerry, off the road, the ancient stone circle of Ectakar, where Armagon, the magician and master druid, wove the land under the first Celts. And this stone circle, these stones are about 12 feet high, and if you think about 2/3 of that stone being in the ground to hold it upright like that all these years, these are very large stones for the stone circle. We walked around counterclockwise 3 times outside the circle and then entered the circle and just put our backs up against the stones and just felt the energy there. This is the view of the Atlantic with our back to the stones, to that stone circle. Another curious cow down there. This is our group from this past May of 2017. We were a smaller group this year. This is on the island of Inishfallen, which I'll talk about in a little bit. This is a view of the Atlantic as we were driving along. Here we come to the town of Sneem. The buildings are very freshly painted looking. We stopped here for a bathroom break and to stretch our legs and walk around the town for a little bit. So here we are on the Barra Peninsula. This is the Ogham stone, Ogham stone. This is in Ballycrovane. This stone stands 17 feet and is said to be the largest Ogham stone in Ireland and is known to be much older than its Ogham inscription. You can see the inscriptions here along that left edge. Ogham writing was the first known writing in Ireland and was for many centuries known as the Druids' sacred and secret language. This is a view from the Ogham stone itself, looking out again toward the Atlantic. We came to the Hag of Barra sign. The Cailleach Barra, the place of the crone goddess, part of our triple goddesses. The story is that the wise hag goddess turned to stone while waiting for her consort, the god of the sea, McNannon MacLear. It's a beautiful view of the harbor stretching out there. The ruins of Kilcatherine were nearby, where there was once the priestess cult of Caitlin, known to be connected with the usage of cats to journey to the other realms. And this stone carving here is a depiction of cats, of a cat. This is Lady's View coming down from the hillsides. We passed this place, and it was a place that when Queen Victoria was invited to Ireland, she brought her ladies-in-waiting with her, and coming down the hillsides in their carriages, they stopped here to move around to get out of their carriages, and they much admired the view, and so it's called Lady's View. This is Ardgroom Stone Circle in County Cork. It's a Neolithic burial site. We walked around the outside of this circle as well, and then went into the circle and just felt our way among the stones and meditated for a little bit there. And then this is the view from the stone circle out across the countryside to the mountains. We stopped in the town of Kenmare, known in Irish as Anneeden, meaning little nest, and the picturesque town is indeed nestled within the mountains. This is a back door out into the garden of a house off an alleyway. This is our boatman and his partner. We are back in Killarney on the lake near Ross Castle. And he is taking us in his motorboat to the sacred island of Innisfallen, held within the lower lake of Killarney. This island was once a place of sacredness for priestesses of the goddess. It later became a center of learning and healing, and Brian Boru, our last High King of Ireland, finished his education here in the 900s AD. And this is an abbey ruin, which came later than when the priestesses of the goddesses lived here. This is a small little stone structure up on an incline on this Isle of Innisfallen. We did a ritual here. This is from inside looking out at the woods. This is our conveyance. This is how we traveled around to all these little known and back road type places to the holy wells and the stone circles. It's a 14-seater, and this is a foggy morning at Beaufort Cottages outside of Killarney. Now, another day, we are going on the Dingle Loop, the Dingle Peninsula, and we'll start at Inch Beach or Inch Strand, either one it's called, and then we'll go on to Dingle Town and Sleigh Head. So this is Inch Beach. It is across the Atlantic from Nova Scotia. It's a beautiful beach. There's days where it's overcast and rainy, and it's still beautiful, and other days where it is sunnier. Here we were gifted with a rainbow. One time we went and we walked in boots and rain jackets, and the next year we went the same exact week in May, and we had our pants rolled up and we were in the water up to our calves. It was warm and sunny. The Dingle Peninsula has a wealth of megalithic, Neolithic, and early Christian sites. The rare beauty of the light and color of the Atlantic Ocean stretches out before you. Inch Strand is a dazzlingly beautiful long sandy beach for walking and resting. Driving around Sleigh Head, the tip of the peninsula, we will be able to see the beehive-shaped huts of the first monks and have views of the Blasket Islands. There's no mortar, no mud between these rocks. These stones were all fit into place, and the monk would live inside in the middle of the Atlantic winds in the winter. This is a view from the Dingle Loop, the roadway around Dingle. looking at the Atlantic. This is a cave in the hillside there where pirates' loot and bounty was supposedly stored. This is Dingle Town. All the buildings are different colors. Everything is fresh looking. Great pubs, great shopping. Dingle Town with its colorful shops, galleries, pubs, and harbor. One of Dingle's earlier names is Dubne, an ancient goddess, and the peninsula was called Corca Dubne. In the 16th century, there was a lot of trade and even holidays between Spain and Dingle. And this was the main reason for Dingle's importance. Also, the town was an embarkation point for pilgrims on their way to the Santiago de Compostela to visit the shrine of St. James. It is said that the medieval church in Dingle, dedicated to St. James, was built by the Spanish. Here we have a statue of Fungi, the famous dolphin who made his home in the town's harbor in 1984 and continues to show up for the people who take the boat ride from the pier to see him. He contributes to the town's economy. He is a male. Healers claim swimming with him is equal to a trip to Lourdes. So some people don a wetsuit, go out on the boat, and climb in the water with him. Reesc Monastic Site in County Kerry. This is an early medieval period burial ground. It's a shrine site on Slay Head. This is one of the carved stones. And this is one of the stone circles where people do ritual, prayer, and just sit and absorb the energies. This was the group from 2016. We had a larger group that year who went on this Sacred Sites tour with us. This is Gobnate's Well. It's in Tobar Manashan on the Dingle Peninsula. It's not an active well. The spring may have dried up or been diverted, but that's her picture there, the goddess of the bees. Now we are heading upland. We have done the 3 peninsulas here, and we are heading upland. And this is the Shannon region where we had first landed, and now we will go to some areas up here in County Sligo and the Brunaboyne, and then over to Dublin and end this part of the trip in Galway. So here we are at Carramore, and this is a place that has the greatest concentration of megalithic sites in Europe, some as old as 5400 BC with over 30 passage cairns. And here is one of them, and it's considerably large. And here is the entryway toward it, and you can see the stone slabs here that make up the cairn toward the back of this circular structure. Here we are at Strandhill Beach, County Sligo. Behind me, as I'm taking this picture, is a spa where people go for seaweed baths. They harvest the seaweed from the Atlantic Ocean that is you're looking at here, and there are private rooms with bathtubs, and you climb into the seaweed and adjust the water and remineralize your body, and it's great for skin, and people do this all the time. This is Carol Roach, a harpist. She is giving us a house concert with a classical traditional harp and a folk harp, and sang to us. We had walked the labyrinth outside with her partner, John, and then we came in and she was set up and sang in a lilting Irish voice. The concert was so moving. It was beautiful. And here we are at the Glen. Some people know about this, some do not. The glen below the Knocknarea Mountains, a few miles from Strand Hill, 3/4 of a mile long, 60 feet high, and 40 feet wide. It's very mossy, almost boggish in some points toward the back. These are what you see when you first come round the bend from a path that leads down the hill. It's very wet. It's very overrun with plants. It's very green. And then you come out into this area. It looks to me like a Hollywood set of some kind. I asked if it was a dry riverbed and was told no. So these stone walls on each side form a container for what goes on here. And we did some shamanic journeying back in past where you see these figures standing. And it's very magical, very filled with the spirits of the land. Now we are at Knowth. Bruneboyne, the World Heritage Center of the Bruneboyne, home to Newgrange, Knowth and Dowth, world-famous Neolithic tombs and megalithic art. These cairns are the largest earth chambers in Europe, at over 5,000 years old, approximately 2,000 years older than the Great Pyramid, and was a place of ritual used by the peoples of that time to connect to the gods. Knowth, with its 17 satellite small cairns surrounding it, is equally impressive and is thought to have been built 500 years before Newgrange. It has a splendid array of decorated stones found to be engraved both within the cairn as well as outside. The cairns were built of granite, dark and warm even on the coldest day, and quartz, white and cold even on the warmest day. So this is the Newgrange entry hall, where you go to register to go back to the hillside structure. And here is Newgrange with the carved stones outside and the a place along with Knowth and Dowth of astrological, spiritual, religious, and ceremonial importance is Newgrange. Much as present-day cathedrals are places of worship where dignitaries may be laid to rest. And the debate continues as to whether this was a burial ground or an observatory. Even to this day, archaeologists can only surmise how these cairns were built and how these huge boulders were moved. This is a structure behind the main tomb, the main structure of Newgrange. Here we are at Trim Castle in the town of Trim, where parts of the Braveheart movie were filmed. And this is a back alleyway and little flower boxes in the town of Trim. Then we come to Loughcrew. Loughcrew Passage Cairn is on the hill of Slieve na Callie, the hill of the hag, spider, or witch, as it is often referred to now. The main cairn is magnificent, with the interior stones having the Neolithic hieroglyphs. The back stone of the chamber is illuminated by a beam of light at sunrise on the spring and autumnal equinoxes. The equinox stone in the Hag's Cairn is of similar design to Newgrange. It has been traditionally described as a passage tomb and place of ritual. Outside of the main cairn is the Hag's Seat, where the elder of the clan would sit for her tribe to receive illumination for the people. This is a tree hinge at Tara's Hill, the Mound of Tara, the Hill of Tara. Tara is the royal centre of Ireland, and it was here that the high kings and chieftains were crowned. It was the place of the bond fee, the sacred marriage of the goddess and the king, or the green man, which brought the bonding of the people to the land. The priestesses of Mabe would lie with the chosen chieftain, and he would be the head chieftain for the year. Great enclosures were embedded here, and held the stone of destiny, which screamed when the rightful heir to the Irish land touched it. So we'll see that in a moment. But this is the fairy tree there. And it is filled with bracelets and necklaces and underwear and keys and clean diapers and clothes, ribbons, tokens, shells, people leaving tokens of gratitude for the healings that have occurred, and also as petitions for healings needed to the fairies, to the spirits of the land. This is the stone of destiny, which screamed when the rightful heir to the Irish land touched it. And here you have Tara's Well down the bottom of the hill. People come here also to take the water home as drinking water, filling up gallon jars and bottles and taking it home as drinking water. The water is so clear and clean. Here is the River Boyne with lilacs growing down toward the water. Here we are in Dublin, and this is a sculpture at Trinity College outside of the great library and the museum. And in the museum is the Book of Kells, an illuminated gospel book. Photographs aren't to be taken. I didn't realize that, and I found out after I took this one and didn't take any more. Here we are south of Dublin. We went down for the day to Bray. We took the train down, and these are some gardens there in Bray at a place for healing with differently abled children and horses. This is the Irish Sea. The beach there, the water's edge is littered with lots of different kinds of stones, smoothed from the water, and we put our feet in the Irish Sea. Here we are back in Dublin on the River Liffey on a bridge. These are the seahorses adorning this street lamp. And an angel in the median. This is a big structure in the middle of one of the main roads. Protectors and spirits of the city. And speaking of different kinds of spirits, here we are in Temple Bar. Great pubs, great restaurants, great food. This is the hub of Dublin. We heard live music 2 feet away from us as we stood in the pub at night, several different nights, crowded, packed, all kinds of people, from babies to silver hairs, and everybody in between. Family gathering places for music and food and Guinness. Great area. Here we are on the west coast now of Ireland in Galway. You can see Galway Harbor in front of you, and down to the lower right, this is the city square. We were in a hotel apartment here. And this is Shop Street, and it's filled with shops and pubs and buskers and tourists. Here are some musicians playing. This is a no-car zone. This is a sign outside a pub. This is a picture of a storefront on Shop Street. And here we are south of Galway town, Galway city, along the coastline. This is the Cliffs of Moher. Sorry, this is the Cliffs of Moher. It's gorgeous. It's just stunning. The colors, the shadows, the way the water ripples against the bottom of these cliffs. And there was an American young man on the pathway up the cliffs who was a bagpiper, and he played as people went by. And when he took a break, he talked to everybody around. It was very nice that he had come to play there. It was beautiful. This is looking from the path, walking up the cliffs across the divide of water and cliff sides here to this castle ruin on the cliff that's part of this whole Cliffs of Moher site. It's a large parking lot, lots of tour buses come in, lots of people walking up the cliffs. So here we are further south, not too far south, but further south of the Cliffs of Moher, in a tiny town of Dublin. Actually, we're outside of Dublin, and our taxi driver asked us if we wanted to stop on this early morning ride to catch the ferry in Dublin to go to the Aran Islands for the day. He asked us if we wanted to stop at a Bridget's Well, and we said yes. We felt very grateful. It's not on the, it's off the beaten track a little bit. It's not on the main road. And so we stopped and we went in. It's like almost like an alleyway. And there were on the left crutches hanging on the wall and letters of gratitude and thanksgiving for healings received. So we did a quick blessing of the waters on us and we left. And then here we are on the island of Inishmore. So Inishmore is the third island of Western Ireland's Aran Islands. It sits at the mouth of Galway Bay and is the furthest one of the three islands out in the Atlantic. It is known for ancient sites like the prehistoric Cliff Top Fort, Dun Angus, the god of love. This is considered the finest ring fort in Western Europe, and this is a view from the ring fort down looking at the water and the cliffs. And this is the ring fort. It's an Irish-speaking island, and no cars are allowed on the island other than those owned by the local people themselves. Buses and horse and trap meet the ferry. This is a small shop. This is the hearth of the restaurant that we had lunch in. And this was our transportation to and from Inishmore, the outer island. Hooker means boat, and so this was a happy boat. And it was a great ferry ride. It took about an hour out and about an hour back, depending on the wind. And it completed our trip. So special thanks to Amantha Murphy for her stories and legends. If you'd like to look at her tours, there is her website. If you're interested in a tour that I am organizing, here is my information as well. So I thank you very much for watching my tour of Ireland. Thank you.